Coming to you from Brand Viva Media Studios here in Denver, Colorado. It's Adam Contos with Start With a Win in studio with producer Mark. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing so good.
Right
We got your friend here with us today.
This is one of my best friends in the world, Misty Lown. She's on the show. Why don't you introduce Misty for us?
Misty has a beautiful list of amazing things that she has done, and so we will not go untold. Those things will not go untold. All right, Misty Lown is the founder, president, and energized face behind more than just great dancing, a licensed dance studio affiliation program that has a positive impact on over 100,000 dance students around the globe each week, which I love. She is sought-after speaker, a business leader. She has been recognized as Teacher of the Year by Eclipse, Outstanding Businesswoman of the Year by the YWCA, as well as many others. Misty, welcome to Start With a Win.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here. I wanted to gather my kids to hear you say all those nice things about me, right? Right now we're at the end of the season for the school year, and I think all they hear from mom is, I'm the ones, did you do your homework?
Yeah.
And your
Get your backpack.
So,
Did you grab your lunch? Let's go.
Listen, outside of picking up your laundry, I do these other great things. You should listen to me.
That's right. I'm gonna make sure next time I see them, I'm gonna tell them all these things.
Please do.
Absolutely.
We'll do that. I am so happy to be here and to support this new adventure that you're on. It's going to go to great places.
Awesome. So what Misty just mentioned is Mark and I are putting together something really cool called the Leadership Factory. You can go to adamcontos.com, click on the button Leadership Factory, fill out your name, and we'll keep you in the loop on everything going on with that. We've got some really cool courses and things like that coming out to build leadership in 2022. But I want to talk about Misty's leadership, because you have built an incredible company from just little bitty La Crosse, Wisconsin, all around the world, 7 different countries. You're impacting over 100,000 people a week. I mean, this is incredible. Why don't you tell us what More Than Just Great Dancing is?
It's an amazing journey in and of its own self. We started with a Misty's Dance Unlimited, a brick and mortar business, like many of your listeners may have, and then we decided, how can we help other people? You see, I was writing for magazines, speaking at conferences like you do, and I saw the line out the door when I would finish speaking. People who wanted to be able to make a living and have a life and have a positive impact on kids in the community. They saw us doing that in a unique way. So we would answer the calls and the emails. People visited our studio. And I said, the best way, though, for me to affect change and provide this is to put it into a format, put it into a licensed product. And that was actually developed at one of the first masterminds that you and I were at together, where I looked around and I sought that advice and we took the late night notes. I said, I think I can do this. So today we have licensed affiliated studios, 296 of them. They're in 38 states, 7 countries, serving 100,000 kids a week. And we are helping other studio owners to do what we've done here in La Crosse, Wisconsin, which is figure out how in this youth serving business that we can make a living, we can have a life, and we can have an awesome impact on kids in the community. So I was a dancer in high school, thought I wanted to be a dancer after high school. I got the big ticket to be accepted to it's called the Elvin Ailey American Dance Center Training Program. It's a year-long program. And I think everybody here locally, including him, thought, wow, like that's it. That's the ticket. But in my heart, I just had a God nudge that said the classroom's going to be your stage. And I remember telling my family and friend and favorite teachers that I was not going to go to New York, that I was going to stay in Western Wisconsin and build this dance studio, and being largely misunderstood. People, and they meant it in a good way, Adam, but just saying, are you sure? Did you really think about this? Do you realize what you're giving up? Why would you give up performing to go into teaching right now? That most people do that in the later part of their career, but I just felt called to it. I was thinking of the kids that I was already teaching and the impact that we were having on their lives, myself and my fellow teachers. And I knew that was the path for me.
So you started building these dance studios from there. You were teaching dance, building your own dance studios. I mean, take me through some of these pivots that you've gone through in your business to continue to level up. I mean, so wanted to teach dance, gave up that opportunity. What's the next pivot and the next pivot beyond that? How did that look?
Well, the next pivot after that was figuring out how am I going to be if I'm going to teach, I'm like you, Adam, I want to be top of the class. I want to have the best information, the best association. So I said, well, I need a graduate degree in education then because my undergrad was in Spanish. And that wasn't probably the best baseline for going into the business world or going into a professional teaching role. It's been helpful in other ways, but not in particularly in that way. So I went to grad school while I was starting my business to get a graduate degree in education and in professional development. I wrote a curriculum that I published through my experience. It was like my thesis type project at the end of that graduate work. And then I started saying, okay, if we're going to do this, how can we make it about more than just dance? Because I had this heart that I wanted to use dance as a vehicle for life lessons. Dance is a vehicle for that which will last forever. You know, your daughter dances, you know that the actual physicality of dance is for a very small period of time. But that perseverance, determination, that grit, that resilience, that the life skill teamwork that comes out of that lasts for a lifetime. So we started referring to our own programs as, hey, this is more than just great dancing. Yes, we do great dance. If you're going to hang a shingle as a dance teacher, you should probably do a good job at teaching dance. So we're going to do a great job at dance, but we're going to do more than just great dancing. We're going to give in the community. We're going to raise these great kids through the arts. And so that was another pivot, like really defining the messaging. So getting into education, really defining the messaging. And then I started teaching, doing that stage work and the magazine work and having other studio owners say, we want to do this. And, you know, Adam, I thought maybe I would go the corporate route and have a lot of dance studios. And that wasn't a good fit for my family. We had 5 kids under the age of 8 at one point. And I thought that's not a great fit because dance is all nights and weekends. And I thought, well, maybe we would franchise. And that wasn't a great fit for the industry. We're so built on personal expression that to have to do everything exactly the same way probably wasn't a great fit. So we landed on licensing, saying, here's the best tools, the resources. And it's like a 24-hour gym. Everything you need to be healthy and fit as the studio owner is in here, but you have to come in and do the work, and we'll have coaches here to help you. That's the model that we landed on. And we started with a founding member in Florida. I sat in her living room. It reminds me of the stories that I've heard you and Dave tell of the beginning of Remax, right? I mean, it's talking to one potential, person at a time who's going to take a market and become the franchisee in that marketplace. That was me in the living room of Boca Dance Studio, Melanie and Jody, and to say, I have an idea. Could you do this? And then another and another. And 10 years later, we have almost 300.
This is incredible because when we take a step back, what entrepreneurs look for are those levers basically those levers take you from this, okay, I'm successful in this little place. Then I become successful in a little bit bigger place. Then I really start to find where my organization creates significance. So, the philosophy of from success to significance. Value. Yeah, I mean, it's incredible. And you found that significance in teaching life values and some of those really intrinsic needs that your students had to have in order to, to take them to the next level in life, and built those into this. And then you found the next level of significance of going, well, wait a sec, how do I scale this truly if dance instructors can't find the time to put these curriculums together? Because everybody shouldn't be out researching all this on their own and going, I want to be like Misty's school, when they can go to you and get it perfected. So, let's kind of walk me through what's going on in your head with building that system. How do systems create freedom for our businesses? And a lot of people want to do it all themselves, but truly, do they need to when the systems are available?
So I do think this idea that we need to build everything ourselves is uniquely American. So I have friends in other markets, let's just say Canada, UK, Australia, and they would never write their own curriculum because there's amazing curricular resources out there. And they just look at us in the States and say, why would you spend your whole summer developing a TAP curriculum or a business development curriculum when there's resources out there? So it really is, I think, a uniquely American mindset that we do everything on our own and for ourselves and by ourselves. And, there's a certain ambition about that, but there's also a certain, if you want to call it a liability of thinking that you could actually be great at everything, because that's simply not the case. So I want to back up and answer this question a different way, Adam. So when I was really looking at what my journey had been, I realized that I had certain areas of absolute incompetence. You don't want me teaching the boys hip hop program. You don't even want me subbing that class, right? And then I had areas of competence where, I was a competent choreographer. I had to work real hard at it, but I could put out decent choreography. I had areas of like excellence. I was excellent as a teacher. I could probably, get any child to feel confident on a stage. But when I started working on my business, I found I had a unique ability. And then all of a sudden, my role to my business became very, very clear. I had a unique ability to develop business systems and to train people into the system and to develop a mission and a message and a voice around what we were doing. So when I'm working with business owners, we really start there and saying, let's just unpack this just a tiny bit. Where do we know for sure you're not going to spend any time? Because that's not your competency. Where are you competent? Where are you at that level of unique ability? And that's what our system helps them to find, is where do they actually fit into their business? And how can we build structure and support around all of those other areas so somebody else in their organization can also either excel or find their unique ability?
And how did you get these people to say, stop wasting your time and start doing, and switch that searching to the discipline of execution?
Yeah, that's such a great question. And I think if I back up just a little bit, I would say you have to find enough people at the beginning who are in some level of pain or discomfort where they're going to say, do you know what? I am smart enough to know now that I don't know everything, or I am deep enough into this to say backing out's not a choice. I have to figure this out. Or I'm toward the end of my career and I'm not sure that I've actually built something of value to a potential future buyer. It's a value to me. It's a value to the kids. So I have to demonstrate that there's something here. So that would come in maybe for any one of those, but the common thread is there's some level of discomfort or pain or sick of being sick in some area, right? So if you can get somebody to that point, then they're going to be willing to listen. Here's a possible path or a solution.
What leadership lessons do you wish you had known before you are where you are today in order to propel you forward? Because, 10, 15, whatever years ago, you were a different person in your leadership
Absolutely.
development. If you were to look back then and say, I want the Misty of then to have this leadership skill or this leadership point, what would that be?
Oh my gosh. First of all, I have to say that one of the most painful things I hear sometimes as a leader is, wow, it, meaning the business, has really changed, or you've really changed. And sometimes people think that's a negative. I say, my gosh, I hope I've changed. I hope after doing this for 24 years that I've grown. Healthy things grow. Healthy things change. We start out as seeds and we become seed bearing. We go from one to, this beautiful outpouring. So I just want to frame up this leadership growth as a really positive thing. And if you do change and it's growing, that's a positive thing. Now, let me just share the specific answer to your question. You were talking about, what do I wish that I had known? I wish that I had known, just like on the business side, that I actually probably can't be great at all things. Meaning, on business side, of all these 10 things that go into our business, I'm not going to be great at them all. You're not going to be able to be great at all things in your business. And you're not going to be able to make everybody happy. So let's get really comfortable with that right now, because it would have saved me so much emotional lost momentum, because the momentum that I could have been applying towards forward motion, helping people, building better programs, really was stuck spinning at different times for too long on beating myself up that I wasn't great at every piece of the business, or beating myself up because I had, once again, not made everybody happy.
And Misty, the final question I have for you, a question that I ask all the amazing guests on, start with a win. Misty, how do you start your day with a win?
Oh gosh, I love to get up early before the kids, so I have some time for myself. I know you and I love a good cup of bulletproof coffee, looking at what's happening for the day, quiet time. I like to look in God's word, journal out what's happening. I feel if I can get any piece of deposit into what I hope my day looks like, how I hope to show up to the day before the day starts happening around me, I have a much better chance if I put my own win in first.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being on Start With a Win, Misty. You're a great friend. I love you and your family so much. You're just an incredible human being and an amazing entrepreneur. Thank you for being on
Right back
Start
at
With
you,
a Win.
Adam.
Hey, and thank you for listening to Start With a Win. Make sure you head over to adamcontos.com for more great content. And if you haven't been there in a while, it's been redesigned, and you can sign up for the Leadership Factory. You kind of hear us talk about that. What is that?
Hey!
Well, you'll find out more.
There you go.
But you got to sign up first. So until next time, remember, start with a win. Misty, I have a question. Do you, when you were younger, like really young, did you always dream about like being a dancer and a performer? Like, did you start off when you were like that little 9-year-old girl in a tutu with your thing of roses after your presentation?
I did, but I want to explain what I understand about it now. So I think whatever you're in, you just look up to maybe the next step. So if you dance, well, then you teach. And if you teach, then you perform. And if you perform, then you open a studio. And there's just these, what feels like logical steps to maybe in real estate. You know, you were interested in houses and you started to become an agent, then you want to be a broker, then you want to become an owner, right? You just look up. But looking back, I realized that was a limited view. I was not made. That's not my core competency. It's not my calling to be a performer, to be a dancer. I'm a teacher. I'm now just teaching studio owners. So again, just thinking for people who are listening, just think a little bit longer and say, like, do you really want what you say you want?
Yes,
so
I love that.
Dance class saying like, oh, I want to be a dancer. Like, truly, is that the only obvious outcome of being in dance class? It's not, right? But it's just a real narrow narrative, I think, and everybody has a version of that.
Yeah.
For whatever their interest or their background or their family life is, we all come out of these narrow narratives. And I just love helping people to maybe think a little longer and a little wider so they can really question it if they want what they say they want.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, hey, thanks so much for being a part of Starting with a Win. And hey, thank you for sticking around for the after show here on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe, hit that thumb up icon and the bell icon so you get notified next time we release a video. And we'll see you when we see you.